Once a week doesn't cut it. Once a month, you're out.
You really need to be posting consistently. I recommend 5 times a week, if at least once, if not twice, and not you need to have that engagement and the content going out so that those fans that actually have liked your page has a better opportunity of seeing it coming through their news feed. And that is where so many individuals I find are just really confused about the business page, because it has changed over the years. We've mentioned this a couple times on our radio show that, to really get a reach on your Facebook business page now, you almost have to pay to play.
Well, like you said, it's an amusement park.
So they have some awesome features on there, the boost to post, and then also the ads. So if you want to just kind of mention a little bit about Facebook ads and how those work.
Facebook ads are extremely powerful. They've tried to make it a little bit easier to work with, but there are some tips and tricks that you really need to know to be totally effective with it. But if you're trying to attract people that like your page, if you're trying to promote what you're doing, you have an event, you have a class that's coming up, boosting a post works really fine in that particular area. Mm-hmm. We had a client a few years back that was in the citrus business, and selling citrus was really, really a finite market. It was women in the cold months. It was women in the northern hemisphere of the U.S. Northeast area, and so it was really difficult to work on it and get it there. For one sequence of ads, we had 16 different setups for one ad layout. But anyway, on to this.
Well, and that's why the Facebook ads do work great. I mean, but you need to have, like Richard just said, you need to have a purpose in why you're running the ads. And those are done via your business page. And you want them to be coming back to information that's coming from that business page as well.
But you were talking about the linking, boost to post ads, it doesn't matter. They will show up on people's personal profiles. And
exactly,
then we get into my famous word, the art of unselling, because if you sit in there, buy my whatever, they're gone.
Well, and that's why you're doing they're coming through that news feed, and you're actually having them click on a button to learn more or to download. Whenever you're running those ads, you really want to gain their attention by offering them something for free so that you can capture that email, and then you have an opportunity to promote to them via your email campaigns. Because the thing about a Facebook business page, and it goes back to where things have changed over the years when Facebook changed their algorithm, which is the formula that determines what is and what is not seen in the news feed. And most individuals that like a business page, about 97% of them never come back to that page. They only communicate with the page if they see information coming through the news feed. That's why I said, think of knowing your people that are your fans are on Facebook by looking at the analytics on the back end of your business page. You don't see that on your personal. So that's why someone in business needs to have a business page as well as a personal profile.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, if you're selling, they're gone. You can't measure. They're in the time stamp short enough to measure it. So that's where you have to craft your message in such a way that you're enticing people to go ahead and click through. There's a lot of information. We all see it out there. Click here for a free report. Click here for this information or that information. And that's where Facebook excels, because it's a great medium for delivering content, either in a post, on your business page, through Facebook ads. The whole system is amazing, but after you go through all that process, how do you continue the conversation, Cheri?
Well, that's the question. I mean, that's everybody asks that. People are posting information, content on my Facebook page. Well, you want to, again, look at all the different features that business page has to offer. On a cover image, for example, which you don't have on your personal profile, on your cover image on your business page, you can actually add a button that, again, will take them elsewhere, to learn more, to call you, you can take them to a video, you can take them to your website, etc. And then there are different applications, as we call apps, that you can actually add onto your business page as well. All of those features that you can use on your business page is one way to attract more fans into engagement. However, we come to the group. And the group is something that is misunderstood. There are many individuals that have been invited to groups, or let me just say, have been put into groups without being invited or asked, that get a little perturbed. That is probably my biggest pet peeve on Facebook, is when someone puts me in a group without actually sending me an invite so that I have the opportunity to go look at that group. The groups are where the actual engagement, the communication, the networking on Facebook takes place. So you really want to take a look at groups much, much differently than what you may have been looking at them before. But there are a number of things that you can do in groups. But before we actually go into all the different features and possibilities into a group, let's explain the difference between those three different types of groups on Facebook. You have your, what we call your open group, your closed group, and your private or secret group. Now, when you can set up a group yourself and become an admin of that group, or you can join a group that is one of those styles of groups. Now, when you actually create a group, you want to know, again, back to what you were saying when we first started, what's your purpose? What is the purpose of doing a group? Now, if you want to extend your business into a group and you want to get a lot of conversation and engagement and be kind of in control of that conversation, that is one reason you'd want to start a group. But you don't want to name the group your company name. You want to come up with a catchy name that is going to resonate with the type of individuals you want to attract. For example, health groups. There's so many different types of groups out there for health today. That it's either for health product, healthy lifestyle, or, something to do with health. But you don't want to name, say if you have a product, you don't want to name the group the product. You don't want to name the group your company name. You want to have a catchy name, something like Get Healthy and Live a Healthy Lifestyle, or Be Happy and Healthy. Those are the type of creative ideas you have to come up with your group, because that's going to attract the individuals that are interested in that topic to come and join your group. Now, when you have an open group, the open group is found in a search. So on Facebook, on every page, they have that search bar. So when someone puts in a keyword or a keyword phrase, you would have an opportunity, if they were looking for something about be happy, be healthy, or get healthy, or something along that line, your group would have, that name would pop up in the search. So then someone could click on that and see what your group is about. Because as an administrator, you can put in a description, let people know that are looking at that group what it's all about. Now, an open group can be found in the search, and when someone comes to that group to determine whether they want to join, they can see who's in the group. They can also see the conversation that's going on in that group when it's open.
So when you mean it's open, it's really not, there's nothing, no real privacy going on in the group.
Precisely. Now, the one thing they cannot do is they cannot comment until they actually request to join. And then the administrator, or depending what their settings are set, if they allow the members to allow someone in, then whoever, has that capability will allow you to come into the group. And then you can start joining in the conversation. Now, a closed group, very similar to the open style of group, but the difference is, again, it's found in the search. So if someone is looking for a keyword or phrase in the search bar for different types of groups to join and get active in, then they would find it. They would then go and click on it, and they would actually be able to see who is in the group. But they're not able to see the conversation in the group. But they can see the parameters of the group if there's some rules or regulations, and they could have a better understanding what the group is about. So that's a closed group. And again, they would have to request to join. All groups you have to ask to join, or if someone actually puts you in the group, you can leave the group. You don't have to stay in those groups. I've removed myself from a number of groups almost every day that people put me in. And that's why I always recommend that you start a group, you invite people to come into the group. Now, a private group or a secret group is just that. It cannot be found in a search. And so definitely nobody's going to be able to see who's in it or what the topic of conversation is unless they've actually been put in the group. Now, why would you have a group like that? That would be more for maybe a membership group, or possibly like with us, when we have a couple groups in that category where when we are training a client or doing a course, we have support groups. And only those individuals that have been into some of our paid programs are brought into these groups. So those are more of the private type groups that you have to have been invited, or, again, you can't just go find them and ask to join them. So that's the difference between those three types of groups. But let's kind of go into some of the activity that happens in these groups and why it's so important to expand yourself and get involved in the types of groups. And what type of groups would you want to join?
Well, everybody knows I'm a pilot, or most people do. They listen occasionally. So I am part of a number of aviation groups that are out there on Facebook, and that's where I get a lot of the information and everything that I'm listening. I know about aviation, especially up and coming trends and new aircraft that are coming out and new ways to do things.
So if you were looking for a group to get connected with other aviators or people that are interested in aviation, businesses that maybe they're building planes, you would go to Facebook and you would start putting in some keywords.
Keywords in the groups, yes.
And then you would, in the little search bar, and then that would bring up some groups that might be started there. So then you would go and get involved in a group. Now, what would you do once you got in that group?
Well, once I go through the process of being admitted to the group, first thing I would spend some time doing is looking at who the members are in the group and looking at who the influencers are within the
like
group.
That, yes.
And then those people that haven't posted in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they're bad. They're reading and consuming the information, or maybe they have gone. And then you have the middle group, which they're the people that read it, and they're the ones that just comment on everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to originate anything that's there. So I kind of break it into three broad categories when I look at it. And it doesn't matter which one you're in. A group is totally valuable, even if you're in that third group where you're just picking up information about what's happening. And it's the greatest education you can get in the shortest period of time.
Mm-hmm. And when you're in a group, there's all sorts of different, it's just like, looking at a website almost. You have, different tabs that you can click on, the discussions, the members, the events, the videos, products, files. You can, the administrator can, and sometimes they allow the members as well to post files. So you can go download products or information that's in these groups as well. But there is a search bar within the group. It's up in the upper right-hand corner right below the cover image. And you can actually type in a person's name. Say that you were scrolling through the discussions and you saw some of the individuals that were posting quite often. And you think, they could be the influencers. Now, when you refer to an influencer, you are referring to someone that actually is a thought leader, is getting some good discussion going, and definitely someone you want to connect with or get to know, right?
Correct.
They are very much aware. So you can actually type that person's name in that little search bar that's within the group, and it brings up the whole stream of conversation or all the types of posts that they put in. So now you have an opportunity to go read all of their posts. So that search bar within the group is a key component that you really want to use when you're in groups and first getting involved in there.
And the general application across any business platform is, you want to know who you're dealing with. And this is an excellent way to determine what is happening in a group and how it's moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, and another question I'm often asked is, well, Cheri, if I have a personal profile and then I have a business page, why do I need that group? Can't I just get people to talk to me on my